Good morning. On behalf of our team at RDIC, we would like to welcome Shane Hilderman and Destiny Williams. They're here this morning to discuss the type of work they do, the training they received, the characteristics they're looking for, the career opportunities, salary expectations, and the working conditions. Just a reminder before we begin that after you watch this presentation, please complete the survey found on our website either by using a QR code or go to the website at www.rdic.ca. By completing the survey, you're automatically entered to win a $50 gift card, which will be drawn at the end of every month. So thanks again, Shane and Destiny, for this informative presentation to help students in their quest to make a better choice about their future employment opportunities. Take it away, Shane and Destiny.
Okay. Hey, I'm Shane Hilderman. I'm kind of filling in for my wife, Destiny. She's with the kids right now. But yeah, this is just about us and what we do here on our ranch and in our kitchen. So yeah, follow me through the presentation here. So yeah, we own and operate a farm and a kitchen. It's called Prairie Sun Acres is the name of our farm, and we do mostly grain and have some livestock involved too, with some cows and some pigs. We're a third generation family farm, and our kitchen side is Hillside Foods, and it was established in 2015. So we're fairly new to the kitchen game. We started by catering, and in 2019 we decided to add a product line and get into some retail business, which I will talk to you more about. For the farming, I just wanted to start off sustainable versus regenerative. Sustainable has been kind of a buzzword in the agricultural world for the last number of years, and I guess just to introduce it, like when I got back to the farm in 2015, we had to face some of our harsh realities, and that's to say, some of our soils, just the way production agriculture's been, conducted the last 50 or so years. We're dealing with some compacted soils and some less than productive soil structures. So in my mind, sustainable wasn't really a fitting word. Why would we want to sustain something that is less than ideal? It doesn't really work for a growth strategy or to try to improve what we're doing, and why not try to improve, right? So we decided to take more of a look at regenerative ag, which is more of a holistic approach to farming. It's based on the idea that plants, animals, and land all evolve together, and none of them would have really thrived without the other two. So a breakdown in that community and the ecosystem starts to lose lots of its biological functions. Farming used to be based on kind of a reductionist science, meaning that lots of the nutrients in our land are in a finite resource, and every year you sell grain off that land, you remove some of this, per se, potassium in that land, right? So if it's a finite resource, you have to replace it, or it will, over time, be reduced to nothing and become less and less productive. Which, I guess is true, but in doing so, you also, kind of affect the soil biology and affect the soil structures. So it's just to, I guess regenerative ag can take more of a soil biology and a carbon-based kind of approach to soil performance, and yeah. So I guess soil biology is a really neat kind of topic where even a human body where, you know, we carry around more microbiological cells than we do human cells. We're basically just taxi cabs for the microbiological world. There's just, the soil's just teeming with microbiology, and it's just something that, you know, past agricultural practices haven't really understood or taken into account. So it's kind of try to bring them to life and work with the soil biology to try to rebuild soil carbon and rebuild our soil structures, make our soil more productive. And it's really the soil microbiology that feeds the plant and kind of interacts with the plant to go gather up lots of the nutrients that is required for the plant to be healthy. And it's kind of the idea, I guess, that all nutrients in terrestrial foods originate from the ground at one point. And increasing your nutrient cycling by having a productive soil biology will really increase the nutrient density within the foods, which is really quite exciting for a cook and a farm to come together in that way. So protecting our soil and restoring our soil is really a matter of global food security, and it's definitely one that no farmer takes lightly. I think even in the past, there's no hard feelings about the way farming is done in the past. I truly believe that all farmers have done the best and continue to do the best with the knowledge that they have presented to them at that time. So it's just a matter of keep trying to improve what we're doing on our farm and be regenerative about it with a heavy focus on carbon cycle and soil. That's a bit about our farm. So just to kind of dive into this a little more, like the first picture here is where it shows soil compaction. And to explain this, I took some pictures. In the first picture, you see this clady structure, you know, the horizontal lines that form in soil. You can see that when water travels through the soil, it's going to travel along these slate-like structures and travel horizontally, and this causes all sorts of problems. It's also hard for roots to travel through. They tend to travel more horizontally along the plated structures as well. So the first picture is where our farm was 3 to 4 years ago when we started this process. The second picture is a picture of where is on our cropping lands, where our farm is today. And you can see that there's still some platy structures. This is a process that takes years and generations to kind of evolve, I guess, to balance itself out and to regenerate some of the biology. So you can see that the structure of the soil is starting to improve. You're starting to get more aggregates, more circular-based structures, but there's still some evidence of horizontal lines there, I guess. So this definitely has an increased water infiltration rate and whatnot. So the soil is starting to improve, which is encouraging to us that some of our management practices are improving or are facilitating what we're trying to accomplish on our farm. And then the last picture here is really, I guess, the goal. It's a shovel full of soil from perennial native pasture, and you can see how it has a chocolate cake-like texture where the soil aggregates are quite circular and bound together, and the roots are really going every direction in the soil. They're really forming a nice aggregate and interacting really brilliantly with the soil around it. So that's the end goal. Knowing that this is a long process, we're just kind of hanging on and hoping that what we're doing, gets us there one day. So some of the opportunities in the field, as an entrepreneur, I guess some of the biggest problems in any industry present the biggest opportunities for any business. entrepreneurs are usually problem solvers in an industry. And so as an entrepreneur, I wanted to take an approach to solve some of my industry's problems. And I felt that, food transparency in the food value chain, like people are always asking where their food is coming from. There's sometimes a trust issue with large companies that what they're doing isn't in the best interest. They're just trying to chase the bottom line. And so I really wanted to create that transparency, be a face for the food that people are eating and tell my story. And second to that is I wanted to grow my food in healthy soils, because healthy soils make healthy plants make for healthy animals. And at the end of the day, it just makes more nutritious food. And I think that's a win-win-win for everybody. And nutritious food, the way we've evolved over time, we've evolved to kind of prefer food that's more nutritious. Nutritious food will increase the flavor and the organoleptic properties, if you will, of the food you eat. And also I wanted to make food that tastes authentic. It's me, it comes from, my farm, our farm, and the farms around ours that have similar practices. And it's authentic. It's almost like food that, your grandma would make, food that you can understand. It's comforting. So those are the opportunities, the value proposition, if you will, of the business that I wanted to get into, called Hillside Foods. So in the kitchen, we largely focus on what we call prairie terroir, and that's a relationship between the food, the land it came from, and the environment it grew up in. Also, the hands that nourished it. So it's a relationship that I truly believe that you can taste. It's one that the wine industry uses quite often. There's vintages in wine. They say, the same vine can produce two different flavors one year from the next, just based on the environment that those grapes matured in that year. And I think that's true for all food, whether it be tomatoes, wheat, cows. It doesn't really matter. It's a product of the environment that it grew in. So yeah, I wanted to focus on it. My food doesn't taste the exact same in 2020 as it will in 2021, and nor do I think it should, because it's a different environment. It should be a different. It should have a different taste and different properties. From a culinary perspective, we started our business focused on pork. We made dry cured salamis, products like pancetta, guanciale, some dry cured forced meats like finocchiona, which is a fennel sausage, and like soppressata. Some of these things. And then we also paired our salamis with certain products that we could find around the farm, like onions that we produced. We made an onion bacon jam, seasonal mustards. Saskatchewan grows more mustard than anywhere else in the world, and we're really, really good at it. So I wanted to share, some mustards with Saskatchewan that are seasonal and kind of fun. And sauerkraut, it's a comfort food to me and to lots of others around Saskatchewan. It's a naturally produced sauerkraut. This was largely an effort to share our heritage breed pasture-raised pork with Saskatchewan. So that's how we started. And since then, it's kind of grown into a variety of items, which, include, cooked pork products like bacon, smoked pork hocks, and even ice cream. It's grown into different canned preserves. It's grown into some fresh sausages and some beef products. And it's largely been driven by what we have available to us on the farm in any given year in abundance to use and to share. And by what our customers are asking us for, what our customers are asking us to build them. So it's been both a bit of a push and a pull from the customer point of view. So that's our kitchen. As far as education goes, my wife has a degree in business administration. I have a degree in food science. We both studied and we met at culinary school, so we both have a diploma in culinary arts and a Red Seal certification. So that's just kind of, some of the education that's helped us through this journey, and we're chronic learners. Destiny and I, we both love to learn, and so the education bit never really stops. I would say it doesn't stop once you graduate. You just keep going. You keep learning. Work experience. Destiny started in the industry, in the kitchen industry at a young age. She worked in a number of restaurants around Regina before attending the Culinary Institute of Canada. She learned from lots of great cooks in the city, what to expect in the industry and what customers are wanting. Shane was an early entrepreneur. He was working at a construction company through high school. Then through university, started his own small construction business, and that kind of helped fund his way through university and taught him lots about what small businesses need and require and what it takes to run one. We both got a work placement in Ottawa after our first year of culinary school, and worked with some very talented cooks and chefs in the industry in Ottawa. After culinary school, Destiny decided to continue her education with the business degree, and Shane got a job at the college where I was responsible for industry product development. We worked with all sorts of companies, airline companies, try to make airline food taste good. We worked with primary producers to make value add all sorts of primary products. From PEI, we worked with the lobster industry to value add lobster. We worked with the blueberry industry. We made new cheeses. It was really a wonderful job. There was a lot of learning around the intersection between food and business. We helped people not only develop the product but take their product to market. So I learned what it took to get food products into the retail business, and lots of the hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Brand development and marketing, and production costs, and all that fun stuff that happens outside the kitchen, I guess. After a few years of doing this, our family had grown, and we decided to move home to take on a new adventure back in Saskatchewan, where we could pour our learnings and our energies into our own business, and thus Hillside was born, and we reintegrated into Prairie Sun, the family business. So some of our duties, I guess our core duties on the farm are, to care for our animals and to care for our crop. And, that's just kind of stuff we do every day. It doesn't necessarily say make our weekly job list, but it's just, something that we're always doing day and night. And then converting the egg products into retail products or food products is something that is a core business of Hillside Food. And care for the soil and build soil carbon isn't something that we do. It's more of like it impacts every decision that we make on the farm. We're always asking ourselves, is this getting us to where we want to be in the regenerative ag space, or is this something that we should maybe think about doing a different way? So it's more of a decision-making tool for our farm. But, you know, to grind down into the details of it, I just took these pictures yesterday. So this is my weekly job list on the far right side for the farm. Not saying that, you know, all these things don't ever get done in a week. And as the week goes on, there's always lots more things that get added to the list. So you need to be fairly flexible in this industry for sure. But, you know, these are things that are, you know, waiting to be done. You know, it can include hauling grain. It can include, you know, service and maintenance to different pieces of equipment. And of course that's over and above, you know, anything that the farm animals require or, you know, the crop requires, I guess. And then on the giant whiteboard hangs in my kitchen, and it's always pretty full. We never complete our weekly job list. It usually grows, but that's what keeps us energized. It can include anything from production to working on our brand to and different types of business development. Yeah, there can be a lot of different hats to wear in either of these spaces throughout the week. So spaces that we use, of course, just have some different pictures here. This is our pasture-raised pork, the first picture in the top left. So I usually go out there and first thing in the morning, at the crack of dawn, go feed my pigs and see how they're doing, hang out with them for a little while. They can be quite therapeutic and fun to watch. And then I come back in, have breakfast with the family, and yeah, continue off to the farm usually, where you can go crop checking. Nice to see how the crops, at least some of the crops, are doing daily. So in the bottom left-hand picture here is a fun picture of some purple top turnips that we grew one year as a cover. These things were amazing. They grew to the size of pumpkins, and when we turned the cows loose on them in the fall, they just devoured them. They absolutely loved them, and they're practically standing on their heads to try to get them. It was fun. The second picture on the bottom here is my kids feeding some Mangalitsa pigs that we got. The third picture on the bottom here is a lentil field where you can see the stick in the middle, where we have some field trials going on, different stuff that we're trying. It's always part of growing and learning. Keep trialing stuff out to see how it works on our farm. And the bottom right-hand picture is just some of our favorite beasts that we have on our farm. They help us build our soil better than anything that we could ever possibly do. So having them is lots of fun. Helps us achieve our goals. And the top right-hand picture is a picture of our kitchen space where we process lots of our value-added ag stuff into retail products. Yeah. And then I have Q&A.
Thank you so much, Shane. That was an awesome story. Thanks so much for sharing with us, you know, the practice of your farming and your culinary as well. I did have a question for you about employees. It looks like the potential to grow is quite good. Is that something you would consider in the future to hire?
Yeah. No, I would say, well, our farm operates with like business partners where, you know, they help us with our production. We help them with their production. So the farm, I would say, has employees or has, you know, business partners. The Hillside Foods side, you know, I think as any startup business, you know, one of the hardest hurdles to get through is, you know, from 0 to 1 employees. You just need to be a certain size and you know, produce a certain volume before you can get there. But yeah, absolutely. Like we would we would love to grow the business.
Where do they live?
We just have to go through it carefully so that we can thrive through it all.
Awesome, thank you. And just for the sake of discussion, where are you actually located? Where's your farm?
We're just west of Duvel. Our farm is. We're right between Last Mountain Lake and the Last Mountain Hills, and to the east. So yeah, our farm kind of operates through that area. Anyways, right from the lake to the hills.
Shane, I just wanted you to touch on, I know you could write books about it, but the management practices, conventional versus regenerative. Could you touch on that a bit?
Sorry, I kind of was getting cut out there. You said touch on the differences between conventional and regenerative practices?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a really huge conversation. I guess, regenerative functions a holistic style of farming where you're trying to recreate the ecosystem as a whole to try to rejuvenate or to build soil carbon. I guess that's kind of like the overarching or the bigger picture difference where, conventional farming, I wouldn't say is focused on soil carbon. I wouldn't say it's not important to conventional farmers, but it's definitely not a focus, right? You're trying to, I guess with regenerative ag, you're trying to recreate the natural ecosystems to be a profitable enterprise. Yeah, I don't know if that really answers your question, I guess, or like, do you want me to go into some of the principles that are involved with regenerative ag?
No, I think that's good, Shane. Like I said, we just wanted to maybe just have a little discussion about the farming practices, but I think you've addressed that well. So I'm not sure if there's any other questions for you. I think we're good. I think we'll just maybe, we'll get Doug just to wind this down.
Okay, thank you very much, Shane. We really appreciate your knowledge and getting us into this area a little bit and talking about it and becoming a chef yourself and your wife. So thanks again, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity to share.